Hi, happy Book Talk Tuesday. I'm Laura Lee and I'm here to talk books. So last week I told you that I joined a reading circle and that we were working on Martha Beck's The Way to Integrity, and that I was going to start that and hopefully finish it this week. But I got to be honest, if you're a reader like I am, you're not always in the mood for everything all the time. I like to read a lot of different things. And I was excited about this book, and I do love self-help, introspective, all of those things. But the last week or so, there's been a lot going on in my world. And then also I was on my Audible. I always have a book I'm listening to. And for Audible, I was listening to The Big Leap and all the upper limit problems, all of the self-discovery that comes with that book. And I started this book, The Way of Integrity, Finding the Path to Your True Self. And between all that was going on in my life, listening to The Big Leap and starting to read this, it just became a lot of really high level thinking, introspective. And I have to say, both The Big Leap and this book, very good books. I'm going to continue. I just needed a little break. So I'm up through page 80 right now. I think it's a really great book for anyone, but especially someone that's kind of trying to figure out their way and what they want to do in their life, which is where I'm at. You know, my kids are grown. They're both in college and grad school, and I'm looking for my space of what do I want to do now that all of those responsibilities, and I don't necessarily want to go back to the classroom. I don't think that's what's on my plate. But I do love teaching and I miss that. And so I'm just, enough of that. Anyway, I do recommend this. I'm going to continue to read it, and I will get back to it with you on another book talk when I finish it, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But what happened is this weekend I said, I need something mindless. So I went to the bookshelf and I just grabbed a book off the haven't been read yet. And I grabbed The Last Mrs. Parrish. And it was so funny. It's one of Reese Witherspoon's book club books. And I was, when I'm thinking light fiction, I'm thinking, like kind of a rom-com in a book form. That's what I'm looking for. This was not that at all. It's more psycho thriller, Lifetime movie kind of thing. So the first part of the book, I was a little disappointed with the choice I pulled off the book. I didn't read about it. I just grabbed. But I did read it just in one weekend. It is a really quick read. It's not a fun book by any means, but I escaped my life into this horrible life of these people. But there's three, basically, I would say, main characters in it, and it's told from two perspectives. The first, and it's almost told in 3 acts. I really think it's the equivalent of a reading of a Lifetime movie. So there are some twists. The first section, I really thought I was going to put it down because I hated that character with all of my heart. But I kept thinking, I hate putting books down. Let's see what happens. And I really didn't like any of the characters. But at least in the second section, there were some twists thrown in that I was like, okay, well, I saw one of those coming. Let's see where we go from here. And it did end up, it was an interesting read. It was a great escapism. It's kind of like watching a scary, thriller movie just to kind of get your mind off of it. But The Last Mrs. Parrish, I would not say it is great literature, but I would say it's a great read. And I enjoyed it. I also would not say you're not going to walk away loving the characters either. If you're like me, I had concern for all of them, but I would recommend it. And I'm going to go back to reading The Way of Integrity. And I also picked another fiction book just so that I could balance all of this introspective, deep thinking. So I had this one on my shelf as well. It's called Are We There Yet by Kathleen West. I had been listening to a podcast. I like to listen to writers' podcasts, and book podcast. I like to listen to a lot of podcasts, but actually I was listening to a writer's podcast, and they were interviewing the writer of this book, Kathleen West, and I just love listening to her talk about the book. So I picked it up. I'm only a few pages in. At first, for some reason, when I picked it off the shelf, I must have gotten confused. I thought it was a middle grade read. It is not. It's definitely women's fiction. And I have a feeling this poor woman's life is going to kind of crumble around her, and we'll see how she figures her way out. Hopefully it's in a good, positive way. But that's what I'm working on right now. So these are the books that I'm working on this week. I also am thinking about maybe changing up how the format, because I really would like to talk about some of these characters, but I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So I kind of may change up my format where I talk about what we're reading, and then I also do one where we could actually talk about the characters and how they made us felt and what it might have brought up, because that's what reading is all about. And if you listen to my book talk last week when we were talking about middle grade readers and really connecting with your kids, it's about connecting with the words and having an emotion and a feeling. That's what reading and writing and all of that great stuff makes it wonderful. So I may change up the format a little bit. If there are any books out there that you'd like to read together, or you want to talk about, or anything like that, please feel free to leave a comment. If you like what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of feeling my way right now, not really sure what I'm doing actually, other than trying to share my love for books. Give me a thumbs up. And if you want to make sure you see all of the posts that I do, just click the subscribe button, and you can keep up to date with all things books. So I'd love to hear from you, and hope you're well. See you next Tuesday. Bye.